The screen opens with a slow glide over Beverly Hills at dawn. The streets are quiet, washed in soft orange light. The camera moves gently, almost like it's remembering every corner of the past. A soft instrumental version of the Pretty Woman theme plays in the background, creating a warm, familiar feeling. The visuals cut to the front of the old luxury hotel. Its sign glows faintly, just the way it did all those years ago. The doors slide open, as if the building itself still expects someone to walk through. The shot holds for a moment, allowing the memory of the first story to settle in. Next, we see close-ups of the places fans remember so well. The boutique street where Vivian once had her famous transformation. The fire escape where Edward made a choice that rewrote both of their lives. A gentle breeze moves the curtains of an upper-floor window, as though time is whispering a secret. Words fade onto the screen, 35 years later. They appear slowly, letting the weight of time sink in. The music deepens. The camera glides past a street lamp, and for a second, the light reflects on a small puddle just enough to show a silhouette of a woman walking by. In a memory-like flash, her face cannot be seen, but her red hair catches the light. Another silhouette appears, this one tall, steady, with the confident stance of a man who once built his world around business, and then risked it all for love. A narrator speaks softly with a calm, cinematic tone. Some fairy tales never truly end. The screen shifts to a close-up of a classic silver limousine. Its door opens slowly, revealing nothing but the empty seat inside. A subtle reminder of Edward's past. The camera lingers on that empty space, hinting at the return of a man who once believed money solved everything, until he realized love could change him more than any deal ever could. Cut to a small jewelry box on a nightstand. The lid opens to reveal a delicate necklace, the same style Edward once gave Vivian. A hand, only partly shown, reaches for it. The gesture is slow, careful, filled with meaning. The necklace glimmers under a soft beam of light, as if waiting to be claimed once again. Asterisk, a close-up reveals the first letter resting on top. The handwriting is familiar, steady, graceful. The kind of writing that belongs to a man who measures every word before he speaks. This is Edward's world. Clean, organized, successful. Yet the letters carry something he never showed in business: emotion. A quiet voice begins to speak, deep and thoughtful, almost like a memory rising from the page. I kept every letter, even the ones I never sent. The scene fades to a different space, warm and lively. A small dressing room filled with soft lights surrounded by mirrors. Pieces of clothing hang neatly on racks: colorful dresses, simple jeans, bold jackets. And there, resting on a chair, lies something familiar, a pair of worn-out black boots. Vivian's boots, the ones from her past. The camera tilts gently, capturing them as if they're a treasure she never let go of. They symbolize where she came from, but also how far she has walked since then. A hand slides into frame, picking up the boots for a moment. We still don't see Vivian's face, only the small movements that reveal her spirit, confident, bright, full of life. A soft laugh echoes faintly in the room, though we don't know if it's a memory or something happening right now. She sets the boots down gently, almost with love, then reaches for a script lying on the dressing table, a sign of her new path, a future she built with her own choices. Cut to a dimly lit hallway. The camera follows the silhouette of a man walking slowly, hands in his pockets, lost in thought. Even without seeing him fully, the way he moves says everything. It is Edward, older, wiser, carrying the weight of choices made long ago. He pauses near a window. The city glows below him. His reflection in the glass is blurred, symbolic of a life that looks complete on the outside but feels unfinished inside. Meanwhile, Vivian's silhouette appears on stage in a rehearsal room. She stands in the center under a single spotlight. She holds a microphone, breathing deeply. Her red hair glows under the light like a flame refusing to go out. She closes her eyes. She whispers something to herself, not words of fear, but courage, a reminder of who she has become. The narrator speaks again, with a soft emotional pull. Edward Lewis, the man who built an empire but lost his way. Vivian Ward, the woman who found her voice and learned to shine on her own. The music lifts gently as the screen shifts to a montage of their two worlds. Edward, standing in a huge boardroom, the city buzzing below. Vivian, in a small but bright theater space, surrounded by dreams she is finally chasing. Their lives look different, almost too different to touch. And yet, through every shot, there's a quiet truth: something still connects them. Asterisk, the sound of a ticking clock fills the background, slow, steady, almost too loud for an empty room. The screen opens on a long conference table, made of cold, polished glass. Papers are spread across it, some crisp and new, others marked with red lines and handwritten notes. A sharp breeze slips through an open window, lifting the pages just enough to show one line that stands out. Lewis Global Holdings, emergency meeting. The camera drifts over the room like a quiet observer. Empty chairs surround the table, but the tension left behind tells a story. Deals are falling apart. Partners are losing patience. Edward's company, the symbol of everything he built, is under pressure. The lights flicker gently, casting shadows that move across the documents. It feels like the entire room is holding its breath. A narrator speaks. Soft but firm, success has a price. And sometimes it collects when you least expect it. The scene fades into a newsroom. Headlines move across the screen like a storm. Market shakeup. Lewis Holdings under review. Leadership questioned. The headlines blur and overlap, creating a wave of noise that slowly fades into a single quiet shot. A close-up of Edward's hand gripping a pen so tightly his knuckles turn pale. We still don't see his face, but the strain in his fingertips says everything. Cut to Vivian's world. A backstage corridor. Costumes, props, scattered sheet music. Everything is colorful and alive, but Vivian stands alone in the middle of it, staring at something unexpected. An envelope, thick, official. The camera focuses on the bold printed words. Notice of withdrawal. Lead role replacement. Rain falls softly at first, gentle drops tapping against the pavement like a quiet warning. The city lights blur into long streaks of gold and blue as the storm begins to grow. The scene opens on a narrow street, empty except for a single street lamp flickering in the dark. The glow from the lamp reflects on wet pavement, turning the ground into a shimmering mirror. The music lowers to a distant heartbeat, slow and steady. A narrator speaks in a calm whisper. Sometimes life brings two paths back together, even when both have forgotten the way. A silhouette steps into the frame from the left side of the street. Heavy coat, shoulders tense. Edward. His walk is slow, not the confident stride the world once admired. The rain gathers on his coat, but he doesn't seem to notice. He's deep in thought, carrying the weight of decisions he cannot take back. Then, from the opposite end of the street, another shadow appears. Lighter footsteps, softer movements. Vivian. She holds a small umbrella, though the wind keeps pushing it sideways. Her hair, visible only in faint red reflections, moves gently with the storm. She's walking fast, her mind elsewhere. Her heart tired but still beating with something the world hasn't taken from her yet. Neither of them sees the other. Not yet. The camera cuts to their feet, one pair moving with quiet heaviness, the other with quiet determination. The puddles ripple as they step closer and closer. A taxi pauses, spraying water, its headlights briefly illuminating both figures on opposite ends of the frame. Then it happens. A sudden gust of wind snaps Vivian's umbrella inside out. She stops, frustrated, pulling it back with both hands. The sound of a distant car horn echoes through the wet air. Edward pauses too, sensing movement, though he doesn't know why. The rain thickens, turning the street into a curtain of silver. For a moment, the world slows. Vivian lifts her head. Edward turns his. Their silhouettes freeze. The camera moves behind them, capturing both outlines under the broken street lamp. Their faces remain hidden, but their posture says everything. Shock. Recognition. 1,000 unspoken words hanging in the air. Vivian takes half a step back, as if unsure whether to run or reach out. Edward stands still. The kind of stillness that comes from years of wondering what he would say if this moment ever returned. The narrator whispers, after all this time, destiny still remembers. They stare at each other across the rain-soaked street. Neither speaks, neither moves. Instead, the storm speaks for them, raindrops hitting the pavement like tiny reminders of everything they've lost and everything they still feel. A close-up reveals something falling from Vivian's hands. A single red rose. It slips from her grip and lands softly on the wet ground, petals glowing under the streetlight. The water runs over it, carrying a trail of red toward Edward's shoes. The camera follows the rose as it drifts closer to him. Edward looks down, and his hand tightens into a fist. It's as if the universe placed that rose there to remind him of what he once held, and what he let slip away. Vivian finally speaks, but only a breath. A quiet exhale that disappears into the storm. Her lips move faintly, but her voice is carried away by the wind. Edward takes a step forward. Vivian steps back. Their shadows touch before they do. The world holds its breath.